Hey chickies! So as you guys can tell, my walls are white, and I said in my announcement video that I uploaded on Photo Booth like just the other day that yes, I did paint my room, and I mentioned it in a different video that I was going to be doing this, but I didn't get the chance to for a while, but finally, yay, my room is white. So yeah, my room is white, everybody's happy, and I'm having such an echo right now on my video. Like, you guys are probably gonna see it. I'm gonna see if I can get rid of it, but if the echo is still occurring in the video, it is because my room is completely empty right now. Like, I'm living in the spare room in my house for the next week until I get my carpet in. But this room that I'm filming in right now, which is my regular room, is it has no furniture in it whatsoever. It's completely empty, so there's like such a loud echo, and it really sucks because this is like the only room in the house I really have to film good quality video. So I mean, if the echo's gonna annoy you, I'm sorry. I don't know if I could take it out or not, but I mean, when you guys are watching this, you'll see if I was able to like nip and tuck and see if I could get it out. Yes, I will have a room tour coming out once my room is completely done and everything, and I'm gonna try and talk more like relaxed, I guess, than I normally do, because if I talk like way like crazy and stuff like that, then the echo's gonna be even worse. But yeah, try to just bear with it, and obviously my echoing is not gonna be like this always, just for this video, and I think maybe Tuesday's video too, I don't really know. But besides that, I already said hey chickies, so today I'm going to be doing a story time video, and I know that's so weird, like I never do story time videos, but they have always been very requested, and I do have a lot of stories to tell you guys, so I figured, hey, why don't I actually make one for once? So I was on YouNow, and I was trying to think of ideas of like stories to tell you guys that have happened to me, and I was thinking, and this one story kept coming to mind, and it was something that happened to me in my 10th grade year. If you guys didn't know, I'm now in 11th grade, but this happened just last year at the very end of the school year, so this happened in like June. It was like the second week of June, I think. So basically it's this big story I'm gonna tell you guys, and it has to do with like an Instagram hate page and this girl in my class and like a bunch of stuff, and yeah, trust me, it's a very interesting story. Just listen. Alright, so getting started with the story, what happened is I was in 10th grade, and that's how I'm gonna start. It was in 10th grade. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of background as to what happened before I go into details on the actual story. So this story takes place at like the middle of June. I was still in school because here in New York, we get out of school pretty late, or at least in Long Island. So this happened like a couple days before school ended for me. But backtracking even before that, like a month before, something like that, I met a guy, and we're gonna call him Bob. That is not his real name. We're gonna use generic names to cover up names and stuff, but we're gonna call this kid Bob. And Bob was a nice guy at first. I thought he was a nice guy, and then he ended up being the let me Netflix and chill with you guy, and I was like, not having that, so I was out. But Bob had a thing with this other girl. Let's name her Sally. Okay, so he had a thing with this other girl like months before that, and I think he might have dated her for a little bit. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that they had a thing going on or whatever, and she's like a super jealous type, and this is what, I'm not to give you guys like, this is like definitely like why she did this to me, but this is why I think she did what I'm about to explain to you guys to me. So basically there's this girl Sally, and then the guy Bob, whatever, and so the girl Sally and Bob had a thing even before me and him did, and he broke it off her, and so she got angry or whatever. And then what happened is she heard me talking to my friends in one of our classes about him because he was a good guy at the time, and I think she kept looking over and she was getting really jealous, and she like, I don't know, I honestly think that she hated me for like such a long time, and I didn't really know why. She just did, and this was like another reason for her to just hate me. Jealous am I right, ladies? So I'm talking to my friends about Bob when I still had a thing with him or whatever, and she's like at the same like area as me, like it was like different tables and stuff, but she was at like a different area as me, but she like, it was like you could clearly hear that I was talking about him. I didn't say anything bad, I was only saying really good things. So I'm talking about him or whatever, and it seemed like she was getting really jealous over, and like, ew, like why is she talking to him, like I know I'm better than you, that's why. So because of that, because of me talking to him, even though me and him broke it off, but because I talked to him for a while, I think she got jealous over that, which is why she did what she is going to do or got somebody to do against me. So yeah. So now on to the actual story now that you guys know the background of it. So what happened was, like I said, 10th grade. This was like now like going forward from when that was, like a month forward, we're in like, you know, like June or whatever, and the girl, Sally, whatever her name is, she still hates me. I don't know why. She just does, and she always has, and she always will, and I will always hate her too, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But anyways, so fast forwarding a month, like I said, in class or whatever, and so there's these two girls and a guy that always used to like mess with me, I guess. Not really mess with me, but like they were like talking about me and like kind of bullying me and stuff, but I kind of just like shrugged it off my shoulder because it was whatever. One of the girls was the girl Sally, and then let's call the other girl Sarah, and then let's call the guy Billy. So now we have Sarah, Sally, and Billy. And they're all together, and they used to like bully me and like kind of like make fun of me and stuff like that. And they would do it under their breath, and they wouldn't do it directly to me. And then they would shout things like, "You have no tits," but like not at me. They would just shout it in general and be like, obviously it was aimed towards me because who the hell else would they be talking about? So they were just like, "You have no tits," and stuff like that, but not like directly to my face. Like, okay, if you want to come and say that, why don't you pick yourself up from your seat, walk over to me and look me in the eye and be like, "You have no tits," because I would have much rather that. Oh, by the way, this is gonna be like significant in this because like it kind of plays a role of like maturity levels. So the girl Sally was in my grade, and the girl Sarah was in 12th grade, and then the guy was in 9th grade, I think. So yeah. So the guy kind of just like went along with them, the guy Billy or whatever, he kind of just like went along with them or whatever. He wasn't really a big part of like the bullying thing, but like, you know, he was still with them, he still like laughed at it and stuff, so he was whatever. But the main focus was on these two girls, and especially the girl Sarah, actually. Not even the girl Sally, but the girl Sarah. So what happened though was, I think because of the girl Sally, the original girl, she just hated me. And so what happened is, obviously, like, they would continue talking me during class and everything. I would clearly hear it, and I would just shrug it off my shoulder because I'm like, you know what, haters gonna hate, and that's how it's gonna be. And so what happened was, the girl Sally and the girl Sarah were like, how hilarious would it be if we made a hate page for Christina? Because obviously everybody in my school knows about my YouTube channel. If you guys are wondering, I made a whole video about my YouTube story, but yes, I do get bullied in school. I did, and I have been, and I still do get bullied for my YouTube channel, like every single day in school. It kind of doesn't bother me anymore because it's like, all right, whatever. I don't really give a anymore, and a lot of people don't give a anymore, but you know, there's still that occasional person that comes up to me and is like, oh, your videos suck. And I'm like, oh, then why are you even watching them? But anyway, so that was that. So they were like, how hilarious would it be if we made a hate page for her, blah, 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 like that type of thing. So they grabbed this other kid. Let's call this kid, let's change it up. Let's call this kid Thomas. So they take Thomas, and he's like this very innocent kid in my class. Like, he wouldn't really do anything bad. He's like kind of like a social, like, not social, awkward kid, but like, you know, like he's like, he doesn't like talk to a lot of people and everything like that. So I don't even really know. He was like one of those kids that's very content and very to himself. But you know, he wanted to try and get out there and be more social and stuff. So when they called him over, he was like, hell yeah, I'm getting in on this because I want to make some new friends. And you know, like they knew that he was kind of like not as like known, or like, I don't want to use the word popular because I really don't like that word, but that is the best way I can describe it. He wasn't as like popular as a lot of the other kids are and stuff like that. And I mean, whenever he talked to me, I was nice to him. Like, and he was kind of like a little weird when he talked to me though, like a creepy kind of weird. So I was like, okay, and stuff like that. It was, but yeah. So basically what happened is they grabbed this kid Tom, Sally and Sarah, and the other kid, but it was mainly just Sally and Sarah. And so what they do is they ask if they could use his phone to create an Instagram hate page for me. Now, the name of the page they created was called Not So BeautyChickee, and it is now, it's like down since then, and like you can't find her or anything like that because of the guidance, and I'll get into that. But yeah, so they made the page, and it's called Not So BeautyChickee, and they made it on this kid's phone. And I did not know that they made it on the kid's phone. I just thought that they made it on like their own phones and stuff like that. So I didn't know at the time, but now I do. So at the time I just thought that it was on like one of the girls' phones or whatever. And so I heard them, like all of a sudden I go onto my Instagram and I'm like checking and stuff because they were like laughing and stuff. I'm like, oh God, this has to do something with me. So sure enough, I go on my Instagram and the hate page started following me. And they like posted things, and they're just like, hey, like I'm a beauty guru and I absolutely suck, and like really like doing dumb things. Like, are you two? And especially one of the girls was a senior. Like, can you grow up? And then they start commenting on my pictures and they were just like, you have no tits and like, you're such a person and like all this stuff. And mainly the only thing they were commenting on my pictures was that I was ugly and I have no tits. And like, I am a B cup. I understand that I don't have a lot of boob on me, but the boob that I have, I like. So I don't really give a about not having tits, okay? You know, like, it doesn't bother me and it doesn't bother other people, but apparently it was such a big deal to them. And you want to know what's the funniest part is the one girl, Sally, she has like big boobs and a big butt, and that's like, okay, whatever. But the main girl, Sarah, that she was doing with, the girl Sarah was the one that was commenting this stuff. She's flatter than a piece of cardboard. Yeah, I don't have a lot of boob, like you guys could see. Like, I don't have that much boob. If I like pull my shirt back, you guys could see I don't have a lot of boob. And I have a nice butt, but it's nothing like crazy. But when I say that this girl was a freaking piece of cardboard, I mean, she was like, she didn't even have to wear a bra, because like her boobs were like double A's. Like, double A's is what like most girls have in like the 3rd grade. Like, I swear this girl was a double A. So she's literally like so flat in the front, even flatter than me, and she's like a little twig, like a little tiny stick thing. And to be honest, I'm very skinny too, but she was like a tiny thing. And she had like her butt, like it was like her back, it doesn't even go down, like, you know, like a nice little rump of a butt. No, like it just went like there was nothing there. Like, oh my god, where's your not there? Oh, my phone just dropped. You know, like, I'm not the one to judge like other people's body types and stuff like that, like at all. I think everybody's beautiful. But it pissed me off because it was the fact that she was saying that I have no tits and like all this stuff. Meanwhile, if you put me and her next to each other, she is flatter than a piece of cardboard, and she is like 12 times flatter than me in every place on her body. And she was telling me that I have no tits. And I'm like, is this girl serious right now? Like, I pray to God she's joking, because has she looked in the mirror lately and compared herself to me? Clearly not, because this girl has like double A's and at least I have a B cup, but goddamn. May I remind you, this girl is a senior. I want to keep that in mind. This girl is a senior. So while I'm explaining this, you guys have to pick up on like the maturity level that's going on here, because it is so low for a senior. Like, when you're a senior, you think that you're more mature. I matured in like the 9th grade and even the 8th grade. And a lot of that maturity came because of YouTube, actually, because like I kind of learned like the business and stuff like that. So I'll admit I matured a little bit faster than people, but I think most girls and guys start to mature more when they're in like 11th grade maybe, but especially girls start to mature a little bit more when they're in like, you know, 9th going into 10th, or like 10th grade to get more mature and stuff. So it's like, I don't know, but I guess some girls just never grow up and they want to stay like that forever, and they want to stay so that's their problem. So basically, anyways, continuing on, so they made this thing and they commented on my pictures, you have no tits and you're ugly and like all this stuff. And so basically what I did is I replied back to the comments and I go, you need to shut up and do your work. I said, what did I say? I said, you need to stop making witty comments about my life, shut up and do your work. Like something like that. I said something about their life. I was like, you need to just like shut up, like making stupid comments about my life and do your work. Because we were supposed to be doing work in our class, but I am so distracted because these are doing like making a hate page for me. Like, who the hell do you think you are? So basically all of a sudden, like they're like laughing still or whatever, and I comment back and I tell them like, stop making like such comments about my life and do your work, because we were supposed to be doing our work and they're just making comments about my life and being so immature. So I commented back and I said that. And so like they're going on or whatever, and like 5 minutes later I hear her go, give me your phone, I want to see if she commented back, or like, give me your phone so I can see if she commented, or let me see if she said something. I don't know, she said something along those lines of wanting to see if I replied to her. And that made me furious. She said it under her breath, but it was like visible because like the class was like pretty quiet. So like I was able to hear it so clearly. So being me and being an angry New Yorker at this, what do you think I did? I stood up from my seat. Like I literally just stood up completely, just everybody was sitting down. I just stood up in front of my entire class and I turn around and I look at this and I go, I did reply to your comment. I told you to stop making comments about my life and do your work. And she was like in shock that I actually said something to her, and then she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, yes you do. Do you think I'm dumb? Because obviously I'm not. She's like, oh well, that's surprising. Like, obviously I'm not, if I was able to put this together. Like, you are so oblivious to the world. Like, I just don't get it. Like, this She calls me dumb, and she tells me that I have no tits. Meanwhile, she's the one, like, you could have covered it up better, but no, obviously she wasn't doing that, and she did such a job at covering it up that I was able to find out within like 0.3 seconds. And then I was like, I know that you're the one that made the page for me, and I know that you're the one commenting hate and stuff. I'm not an idiot. And meanwhile, my teacher's just standing there, she's listening to all this, and she's like, oh crap, this is getting good. So yeah, so she's like teachers in my school, they don't care. So she's just sitting there like, what is going on? Oh my God, like the beef right now. And then she's like, well, you know what? I'm a senior, so I can do whatever the hell I want. Like, okay, yeah, you're a senior. Just because you're a senior doesn't mean that you can bully a 10th grader. Do you realize how low that sounds? Like, when she said that, I literally just stopped and stared at her because I was like, you realize how much of an idiot you just made yourself sound? Like, you're a 12th grader, you're about to graduate, and you're spending your time bullying a 10th grader. How low can you get? Like, I thought this chick was low, but that just brought her like down, even like just like into the ground, into the soil. Like, I don't even know. Like, I was just like, she's like, oh, well, I'm a senior, so I can do whatever I want. Like, just because you're a senior doesn't mean that you should go around bullying 10th graders. Like, what? Plus, why are all your friends 10th graders and freshmen? You wanna know why? Because nobody in your senior class likes you, because this is what you do. You play childish games. Maybe that's why you don't have any friends. So I was like done by this point. I was like, okay, this. So then what ended up happening is that ended or whatever, and so I was just so pissed, and I was just like standing there like and so that, and then eventually the class ended, and I go up to my teacher and I explained everything, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna keep my eye on her, and I'll talk to her tomorrow and stuff like that, and tell her to like stay out of your business and all this stuff. And I was like, thank God. And she was like, you know what you should do is go to your guidance counselor and talk to him about it and see if he could do anything about it. So listening to my teacher and being the good person, a lot of people say that like when things like this happen, like they don't go to their teachers, they don't go to their guidance counselors because they feel like they'll seem like they're weak and stuff like that. But no, that is not the case. If you have an issue going on, especially some that deals with bullying or something similar to mine, then you should go to your teacher and you should go to your guidance counselor, because you're taking responsibility. You're not acting weak, you're just taking responsibility. If you have the option to do that and the option to do something about the bullying, then you definitely should. Don't sit around and think that it's gonna make you weak or frail, or if you're a guy, it's gonna make you look soft. Like, no, take responsibility, talk to a teacher, talk to a guidance counselor. So me being a smart, because I'm not just gonna sit around and take from her, I went to my guidance counselor right after she told me that. So I go to my guidance counselor and I told him everything going on, and my friend was with me and everything, not the one that was in the class, because my ones that were in the class when this was going on, they were like, oh my God, but they had to go to their class. I was going to lunch anyways, so my friend that I normally sat with at lunch, my really good friend Emily, she comes with me or whatever, and we're sitting down. I explained everything to her before we went into the guidance office, and she knew that there was like, that they've been bullying me throughout the year because I've been telling her about it. So I just wanted somebody to be there with me in a way, because like, I don't know, I just didn't want to go alone. I just wanted somebody to be there with me, you know, like moral support. So yeah, so my friend Emily came with me, and we go into the guidance office, and I'm like, I need to talk to my guidance counselor right now. And they were like, all right, so put me in the room with him or whatever. And he's like, what's up? What's going on? And so I told him everything that happened. And he's like, and at the time, I didn't know what the girl's name, like the girl Sarah, I didn't know what her name was. I only knew what the actual girl, Sally, I know what her actual name was, but I didn't know what Sarah's actual name was. So he was like, what class is it? And I told him the class that it was, and he was like, all right. And so he pulls the roster up on the computer, and he's going through the girls' names, and he like clicks on them, and like their school picture comes up. And so he'll click on each one and stuff like that. And then he, like, all the girls he was clicking on in my class, I was like, no, that's not her. And then, what's it called? And then the lady from like outside, she's like, see if it's blah, blah, blah. Like she literally said, she was like, see if it's, and then she said its student's name. He clicks on it, and that is the girl. And I was like, no way. I was like, thank God for this lady outside. I'm like, that is the girl. Yes, that is her, that ugly that is her, and she needs to go down, because I'm not having it anymore, because this is BS. He's like, okay, she's had a lot of issues in the past where like people have come to me about getting bullied by her and like a bunch of stuff, stuff and everything anyways. So he was like, thank God I'm her guidance counselor because I'm just gonna bring her in and talk to her and see what's going on. So basically after all this happened, my guidance counselor, I told him everything. What happened is the hate page was still up. They were still commenting the entire day. And then I get home from school and I have a message from the page, the Not So Beauty Chickee page. Basically, I wish I still had the messages to read to you guys, but I don't because it was last year and like when it ended I was like, whatever, I don't need these anymore. So basically I get home and I was telling my parents about it throughout the day, and I give them a call during lunch once I got out of the guidance office and I told them what's going on. And then I get home and I get a message, and it was a really nasty message from like the girls or whatever, and it was just like blah blah blah. And then I replied back, I'm like, do you really have nothing else to do with your time? Like, you're just wasting my time on stupid shit. Like, what is wrong with you? And then all of a sudden, the person replies that was like typing to me, and it was after school, so I was like, oh, the girls can't be together anymore, so I'm like, it has to be one of them. So one of them was typing to me, and they're like, and to my surprise, they're just like, oh yeah, I guess I was just doing this all because I'm jealous of you. And when they said that, I was like, what? I was so confused. What do they mean they're jealous of me? I was like, this is definitely a setup for something. So I was like, what are you talking about? And they're just like, and the person that was running the account was just like, oh, because like you have such a successful channel and you're really popular in school, and I feel like if I were to go talk to you, you're very intimidating and stuff like that, and like I feel like you act like such a that way. So like when I go to talk to you, I feel like you want nothing to do with me. And I'm like, well, you never tried to even talk to me, because I'm thinking that one of the two girls is talking to me through the messages. And I'm like, well, you never tried to talk to me. And that person goes, I've tried to talk to you several times, and every single time you just continued talking to your friends, so I felt neglected. And I'm like, okay, this is weird, because now that they said that, it can't be one of these girls, because they have never came up to me and tried to talk to me. If they tried to talk to me and be civil, I would have been civil with them. But the person that was running the account said that they tried to talk to me before, and I was just talking to my friends, so I guess I kind of like shrugged them off, which yes, I feel bad about, but I was like, what the hell? I was like, okay, this took like a totally different direction. Like this, like, it was like going in a bad direction, and then like, whoa, like turn around, and now I'm like so confused. Like I just got dizzy from it. I was like, wait, what is even going on anymore? Who am I talking to right now? So I asked them, like, who is on this account right now? They're like, I don't want to tell you right now. And I'm like, well, you're gonna have to tell me eventually. And I was like, just saying I went to guidance with this, so you have to. So I was like, if you don't want to get busted, then you might as well change your name and stuff like that, because honestly, you're going down in some deep shit, because I wasn't like handling with this shit anymore. But I wanted to know who it was, because it wasn't one of the girls, and I was really confused, and I was like, what the hell? So that was that. And then what happened was the person was just like, yeah, I'm really sorry about all this. I just want to like talk to you and be like civil with you. You seem like a really nice person, and I'm just like 50 shades of like, what is going on right now? Because I'm like, this would never happen. So I'm like, I'm just completely lost. There's no other way to describe it than I am lost, like completely just so confused. So I'm just like, what the hell is going on? So then they were just like saying all this stuff, and I'm like, you know what, it's fine, whatever, like let's just get over it. I'm like, I still went to guidance with this stuff though, and so you're gonna get in trouble. But I was like, who is this? I'm like, I will not complain anymore, and I will tell guidance to like completely cut it out if you tell me who this is, because obviously it wasn't one of the girls. And then eventually they were like, if I tell you, you have to promise not to tell anybody, because I don't want to seem like a bad person and like all this stuff. And I'm like, you already are a bad person to me as well as to like many others. So like, you know, just open up about it now. Like you're already in deep shit, so you might as well tell me who you are, because then maybe I could do something about it. And so the person opens up and goes, okay, I'm gonna tell you who I am. And they go, I'm the very quiet kid in your class. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what, very quiet kid, what, who is it? I was like, wait a second, and then I'm like, what is your name? And he told me his actual name, but I'm explaining to you guys as it was the very quiet kid, Thomas. So he's like, my name is Thomas. And I was like, and I'm like, what? I'm like, no. I'm like, you're lying right now. Like, you're totally I mean, this is definitely one of the girls. It wouldn't be you. I know that you wouldn't do this. And he's like, no, it literally is me. And he was like, he wasn't kidding. And I was like, what? What's going on? So I was like, then why? I was like, why do you have the account on your phone? Why have you been bullying me and stuff like that? Like, what's going on? And why were you talking to the girls? And like, why were they being only bullied and stuff? I thought they were the ones running this account. And he goes, they are. Like, but yeah, I'm like, but you're talking to me right now. And he's like, yeah, but basically, and then he explained to me, he goes, they called me over to sit next to them because they didn't want to get in trouble in case she went to guidance or anything. So they asked if they could put the account on my phone, and I kind of just wanted to get along with them and stuff. So I said yes. So now the account's on my phone, and they would just use my phone throughout the day to check if you said anything and to reply to you and like all this stuff. And they told me to just go along with it when I get out of school to piss you off. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, so basically these girls took charge of you and they're using you. And he's like, yeah, in case they get in trouble, then I'll be blamed on the kid Thomas. And I was like, okay. And then I got sappy. And I'm like, listen, dude, I'm like, I understand that you want to blend in with everybody and you want to get together with them and everything, but that does not mean that you go with them and you bully other people and you do things for them that are bad. I'm like, do you realize how much trouble you could get in? I'm like, if they track down this account, you're lucky that if guidance doesn't track it down and it connects back to your phone, you would get in so much trouble by the school. I could have you suspended and like all this stuff, because bullying is like, it's kind of like a crime. Bullying is a crime, and that was a crime, and so it would track back to his phone. So the girls were smart about it, but not smart enough because the kid eventually broke down and told me. And he's like, so we're talking whatever, he's like, yeah, I understand now. He's like, I'm gonna delete the account and everything, and I'm like, good, you should. And I was like, whatever. I'm like, I already went to guidance with this though, but if they come back to me, then don't worry, I'll tell them like whatever the story is. And he's like, all right, thank you. And then he was just like, oh, could you do me a favor? And I'm like, what? And he's like, don't tell the other girls that I told you that it was me. I don't want them getting mad at me. And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna tell them. Like, I'm gonna call them out on that. And I have to tell guidance about that because that is so like up. So I'm like, obviously I'm gonna tell guidance about that. And I was like, you shouldn't be covering them and then getting yourself in trouble meanwhile you did nothing. And he's like, yeah, that's true or whatever. So I kind of lectured him on that. And then I told him, I'm like, I want a formal apology though from you and all of the girls tomorrow. And he was like, all right, that's fine. He's like, I'll come up to you and I will apologize to you and I'll tell them that they should do the same, and I'll tell them that like it was guidance and stuff so that they actually do. And I was like, all right, sounds good. Next day comes, I go into the class that this kid Thomas is in and then all the other girls, and the girls weren't there. Both the girls were not in the class. So both the girls were not in the class and the kid Thomas was. And when I walked in, the first thing he did was come up to me and he gave me a hug and he apologized to me for everything. So I was like, all right, this is fine. The kid was a 9th grader. So I was like, okay, it's fine. I was like, I don't want you taking from anybody though. And he's like, all right. And he understood and everything. So that was fine. And we were like civil with him or whatever. And then the 2 girls weren't there and I was like, I wonder why. And it was funny because in the beginning of the day, I saw the one girl, Sarah, the one that was like screaming that you have no tits and stuff, that I saw her like walking around and stuff like that in school, and then she wasn't in that period. And I was like, I was like, maybe the guidance counselor talked to her or something like that. I don't know why she wasn't there, but it was the last day of school. So why wouldn't she be there for the last day? I don't know. It's not like she was going to be sick on the last day and just stay home. So obviously she must have got pulled out of the class or something like that, or had passed one for the day. I honestly don't know what happened to her. But that was that. And so my guidance counselor was like, how are you doing? I'm like, good. He's like, I never got a chance to talk to her because she always has a class and like she has a late arrival and like all this stuff. So it was like, whatever. And I was like, okay. And I explained to him what happened. He was like, oh, okay. He's like, so the kid came out or whatever. And they told you. I'm like, yeah. And he was like, all right. Sorry, I had to sneeze. So yeah, I told him everything that happened, whatever, the day before, and updated him. That was that. And the other girl, Sally, I don't really know what happened with her. Me and her still hate each other to this day. And oh God. But yeah, so that was like the end of it really. Like, I don't know, that was like my adventure. And then the kid changed the name of the account, and then after a while he kind of just deleted the account. So that was that. I still had the screenshots to show my guidance counselor, like proof and everything from the night before and from when they first made the page and everything, and I showed him those, and then the day after I showed him the ones of my conversation with the kid and everything, but he deleted it and so all that stuff, so I still want to have screenshots for evidence, so I did. But yeah, after that, I haven't seen the girl Sally since. I haven't seen the girl Sarah since. The girl Sarah graduated, so I didn't have to like deal with her anymore. I never see the kid Tom this year. I never see him in school. I never see the girl Sally in school. I'm pretty sure she still hates my guts, and it's okay because I hate hers too, and I don't know why. It's just one of those things where you just hate the other person just because like they are them. So yeah, so that was that. That is my story, and in the end, the girl graduated, and I didn't have to deal with her anymore, and everything was fine. But I mean, you know, I just want to make it straight to you guys that, like, you know, like I normally am a person that's very calm when it comes to somebody bullying me, but when it happens every single year for every single day for a year straight, it's gonna get on your case, and me being me, I like to roast people, so yeah. And also a little lesson you should learn from the kid is never like cover up for somebody just because you want to like blend in. Like this kid wanted to he wanted to be a part of their crowd and everything like that, so he wanted to blend in and everything with them and, you know, like get along with them because then he would be like good or whatever, and I don't even know, so it was that, and I just, no, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing you for you. Like if he legitimately wanted the account on his phone and wanted to keep control of it, then that's a different story, but they convinced him to and forced him into doing it. And so he did just to fit in, which is not right, and none of you guys should ever do that. You should never do anything that you're not comfortable with just to fit in with a group. Another thing I want to point out though is that he mentioned in his messages, he's like, oh, because you're really successful on YouTube, which yes, I have a successful YouTube channel, but then he was like, and you're really popular. When he said that, I didn't understand what he meant, because if anybody goes to my school, like everybody in my school knows who I am because of my YouTube channel, and they know that I do YouTube and like all that stuff. But as of like my group that I hang out with and like the people I see and everything, I'm really not popular. Like I don't go out on Friday and Saturday nights and party. I don't go out and drink and smoke weed. I sit home and I read a book or I edit or like any of that stuff. I have a very, very, very tiny group of people that I hang out with during school, which is like, you know, my friends like Erin and Emily, and I have another friend named Emily, and my friend Tori, and then my friend Frankie. Like those are like my main friends, but like, you know, you can never be too sure. So that was that. So I only have a tiny group of people that I actually talk to that go to my school. I have friends from like other schools too, but not really close to them at all. But my best friends actually come from YouTube, like, you know, the people in the Salty 7 and stuff. And obviously I don't get to see them on a daily basis. I don't get to see them during school or anything, which really sucks. But that's the way life works. But yeah, so that's it for the story, guys. And yeah, I don't know what else to really say, but that's it. I want to try something new with my outro, so we're gonna try this type of outro instead, what you guys are seeing right now, because I feel like when I just do like the pop things, like it gets like really annoying and stuff. So we're just gonna work with this. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and stay subscribed to my channel. You can do it by clicking the subscribe button on the screen, or like, you know, when you see my icon, you can click on it there. And if you guys haven't checked out my last video, make sure to go check that out. And if you guys want a related video, then go and check that out too. Everything will just be on the screen and clickable, and you can do whatever you want. Yeah, with that being said, chickies, I'm going to go, and I hope you chickies enjoyed this video though, and that is about it. So with that being said, ciao, ciao, chickies.